episode is about applying dictionaries using Pandas with Python. We're gonna learn how to create new columns using dictionaries. Let's go. The idea behind applying dictionaries is to create a map. That means we're going to apply a certain function coming from a set, let's call it X, into a new set called Y. In this case, we're going to talk about two genders, male and female, but in our data frame we have 1 to represent male and 0 to represent female. So how I'm going from 1 and zeros to male and female? Well, we're going to create first our dictionary to understand and to represent this using Python. We have our data frame using this column A, where we have duplicated values, but once we apply this column, we'll go to our dictionary and we'll say, okay, what is that value for 1? We're going to apply our function mapping into male in this case, and we're gonna create a new column called F in this case, where we're going to store the value that we or Python finds in our dictionary. So everything that we have in our column A represented by 1, we're gonna store it and save it in our new column with using male. The same works when we have 0 and then female. This is the idea of applying a dictionary to create new columns in Python and any other programming language in general. Let's see how to apply Pandas in this case. We're going to call our set X keys into our set Y. We're going to call it the values. So we're going to have keys and values. And in this case, when they are together, we're going to call them tuples. In this case, for example, we have a tuple A alpha. So going from A to alpha and so on. Let's see. First, let's import our diction to create our dictionaries and so on. We're going to create using Pandas. Now, we're going to use certain data. In this case, I use reading from Pandas, and then let's see the columns and the feature we have in our data frame. Let's see that we have certain columns, in this case team and position, where we have duplicated values, Boston Celtics, PG, SF, and so on. But you can see that position is represented by 5 different positions: point guard, small forward, and so on. Meanwhile, team, we will have 30 different teams in our NBA data set. Then, why to apply a dictionary? In this case, our goal could be to reduce or to group in a different way each player. Then we know that each team belongs to a certain division or to a conference too. That could work too. And then we're gonna change our team, or we're gonna create a new column called division. So that's the idea here. We're going to apply our data frame, in this case the column team, to find in what division our team belongs to. Then we have to create this dictionary. Let's see, for example, here we can create a contingency table between team and position. Let's see that for each position there are certain number of players for each team. But can you see it's a little bit fatigued to see all this table because we have 30 different teams. So instead of summarizing with 30 teams, why we don't do it with 6 different divisions? And come here. This is our first method to create dictionaries and to apply them into data frames. Can you see here? To this combination we call it tuple. Boston Celtics could be our key and Atlantic would be our value. So every time our data frame says Boston Celtics, we're gonna map it into Atlantic for its division. That's how it works. You see? And every time we find Detroit Pistons, we're gonna map it into Central. As you can see, we go from a data set or a set consisting of 30 different values into a new set consisting of 6 values only. This is how we're gonna do. We run this part, and can you see, once we have created, we can understand how it works and how to get certain information. In this case, say San Antonio Spurs. Is that key in our dictionary? Yes. Which value can we get? Southwest. And so on. You can try. Los Angeles Clipper and so on. If it doesn't find the key, well, of course, it's gonna return nothing. And you have other functions that you can apply to your dictionary. In this case, values, returning all the values, Southwest, Pacific, or the divisions we have, and the different tuples we get them using items. So here you can see that we have map. We apply the function going from X to Y, mapping, and we say, okay, we're gonna map using NBA teams, but what? To what? Okay, as you know, in Python we have our series of data we want to use, and then we have the dot applying a certain function. I'm going to apply the mapping from all these values in team, San Antonio Spurs, New Orleans Pelicans, Memphis Grizzlies, and so on. And you can see, then we're gonna map from San Antonio Spurs to Southwest, and so on. And we're gonna store it in our new column called division. And there we go. And we have our new column called division. As you can see, we have duplicated values for Boston Celtics, and every time our mapping finds Boston Celtics, it translated into its value, in this case, division Atlantic. And there you go. And how do we know that we applied correctly? Well, let's see using value counts from our new column division. As you can see here, we have 6 different divisions in our new column called division. Then we are able now to summarize in shorter terms or shorter lines all the information we have in our data frame here in this case. This is the first method how you can apply dictionaries into data frames using Pandas with Python.